Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today I want to go over the draft deck that I played over the weekend. Just wanted to kind of take a look, see if there's anything that I could improve upon or any sort of maybe text that maybe I missed with this build. So let's get right into it. I'm going to move the lands off to the side here while we just kind of go over to the main cards that pretty much used. So the first one that we're going to start off with was a Stelly Reclaimer. One thing that I think I should have done a little bit more with this one is the warp cost. Ran into a few tech options that I should have pulled off a little bit earlier in the game. Spent a little bit too much time waiting around for this one to be used later in the game. I'd have to say that this effect, so when creatures enter, or when this creature enters, return target non-creature, non-land permanent card from with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast this creature. Really, there's not too many options whenever you start looking at some of your enchantments and your equipment, but this one actually has a few tech options that you can pull off early, and a few that pull off a little bit later after you've done the warp effect. So one card that I think I should have played a little bit more, ran into it a few times, but just needed a little bit more tech knowledge of trying to use the warp cost. Sky Stinger, this one was great. Reach, whenever this creature blocks a creature with flying, this creature gets +5/+0 until end of turn. This thing really helped with, I believe it was called Breach Whale. Very strong defender, or not defender, but very strong kind of chump blocker. Usually keeps opponents at bay, especially when they don't want to lose their flyers. Glacier Godmaw. I know this one's really strong, especially with Trample, and then you get to create a lander token when it enters. And then its landfall effect is whenever a land you control enters, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance and haste until end of turn. I think one of the things that kind of I struggled with this one was I just wasn't seeing it enough. I was kind of pulled this one early in one of the earlier packs. I was kind of thinking of trying to tech a landfall deck, and then kind of saw more opportunities with +1/+1 counters, which is the green-white strategy from Edge of Eternities. Raidblade Trooper. This one was great. When this creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter and target creature you control. Whenever a non-token creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, create a 1/1 white human creature token, and then it has a warp cost. Again, I am still trying to get a full handle on this set. I think the warp ability is really strong. It really pulls off early games. Helps you set up a board, and then you can always bring these creatures back late game after you've already used the warp ability. Drix Fatemaker. This one was another one that was fun. When this creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has trample, and then it also has a warp effect. Both of these two together, really solid tech. Just because you have creatures kind of entering, getting +1/+1 counters, and then whenever they're leaving, you're getting some more 1/1 white creatures, or white human soldiers, and then later down the line you end up adding more +1/+1 counters to those ones, which give them trample. Fun interaction with all of them. Blooming Stinger. This one was a little bit more of a kind of a chump blocker I used. I don't know if that's the correct way that I should be using it. Death Touch, usually, whenever I see Death Touch, I usually think, this will kind of be a chump blocker just to kind of keep people at bay. Its second ability, when this creature enters, another target creature you control gains Death Touch until end of turn. Really helped out with trying to get some of the bigger creatures to form Death Touch and kind of allow the opponent to decide whether it's worth blocking one big creature or end up letting them take direct hit. Galactic Wayfarer, really solid card in the set. Where you, when it enters, you create a lander token. The lander tokens are really cool. Kind of one of the techs that I started noticing later on is once you get those lander tokens out in play, especially if you're running the landfall deck, some of the creatures will say that you can tap a permanent on board to generate mana, and those lander tokens work really well. I do not remember the name of the one card that does it really well. Thawbringer. When this creature enters or dies, survey one. This was mostly just to kind of take a look at my plays, try to see if I can set up anything that might work later in the next few turns. Really, mostly just to try to get some more leeway into either building up a graveyard if I need to pull something back out, or getting rid of or keeping something that I really need on the next turn. All Fate Stalker. This one was another great one. This creature enters exile up to one target non-assassin creature until this creature leaves the battlefield. Really didn't use the warp cost as much. Again, still trying to get used to the mechanics of this set a little bit. It's so interesting that you can pull this thing out, pretty much exile a creature on board, even if All Fate Stalker got warped in. But then you can always cast All Fate Stalker later in the game, just to exile either the same creature or a later creature that is posing more of a threat. Left Blade Enhancer. This is where we're kind of getting down to where I'm not really sure if I was playing this card correct. So when this creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, and then you can warp it in for 3, 2 colorless, 1 white mana. I think this one worked really well with the Drix Fate Maker and the Rayblade Trooper. I would say if I went back and played that combination again, I would try to add some of those +1/+1 counters onto some of the tokens that I was generating, but maybe I have that wrong as well. Fungal Colossus. This one was just really solid just because you can decrease the colorless mana cost, where X is the number of differently named lands that you control. Unfortunately, since this was a 2-color land deck, I was able to snag another one of the planets during this draft, which helped out, but really didn't decrease much of the cost for this creature. Dual Sun Technique. I really like this one. This one helped out in one of the matches that I had. So target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn. If it has a +1/+1 counter on it, draw a card. The draw power really helped out. Unfortunately for me, my opponent had one of the other sort of battle techs to counter this and really kind of drive home the match. They ended up winning that one, so congratulations to them. Honored Knight Captain. When this creature enters, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, and then you can pay 4 and 2 white mana. Sacrifice this creature, search your library for an equipment card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Really helped out later in the game if I needed to build bigger creatures. There's a few equipment that I kind of held up in the back that were helping out with building bigger creatures, especially from these smaller ones, especially your 1/1 white human soldier tokens. Exosuit Savior, another really solid one. Flying, and then when this creature enters, return up to one other target permanent you control to its owner's hand. So this one's really interesting because really you're bouncing all of your creatures that have any of those effects that you enter it, it has an effect. That's really all it does for the one turn, and then Exosuit Savior allows you to bring him back so that you can do it again next turn, or if you don't want that creature to be exiled later on. Dockworker Drone. This creature enters with a +1/+1 counter on it. When this creature dies, put its counters on target creature you control. Again, really solid. Mostly trying to add those +1/+1 counters wherever I can. And then really nice that you can kind of move it once this creature dies. Night Luminary. When this creature enters, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. This one I did use the warp cost a lot. I found it really easy to warp in, kind of get that 1/1 white human soldier just as a chump blocker or somebody that I can kind of build up later in the game. And then I can always bring back a Night Luminary to build up another 1/1 creature. Intrepid Tenderfoot. This one was interesting. If you drew Intrepid, or whenever I drew Intrepid Tenderfoot, it really helped out with building up the +1/+1 counters on it, especially if you're kind of at a standstill with what you're drawing. I had one game where I was just drawing land after land, and this one was able to kind of build itself up, and so it kind of allowed me to kind of get through the lands that I was drawing and try to push through that so that I can try to get some of the other creatures later down the line. Unfortunately, I think the issue with this card is if you rely on it too much, then your opponent's just kind of building up a board, and there's really not a whole lot that you can do to deal with the board. Again, would recommend that if you do end up going with this card, really try to think about deck building behind it. I would say that if I went back, I wonder if there's another card that maybe that was in the draft that I would have switched this out with, just to try to get a little bit more leverage than to just add a bunch of 1/1 counters onto it. Broodguard Elite. This one was a fun one. This creature enters with X +1/+1 counters on it. When this creature leaves the battlefield, put its counters on a target creature you control. Again, another warp cost one that I really think that I should have utilized more, especially when you can build up a lot of mana in one turn. Build up a lot of those 1/1 counters and then just break them off onto another creature that you control. This really builds up those 1/1 counters a lot early game. Okay, Dawn Strike Vanguard, excuse me. Lifelink, at the beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more tapped creatures, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control other than this creature. This one was definitely meant for the Sammy, the red-white build, and I think if I went back, I'd probably scratch this one off of usage from my side. One thing that it did, because you have to tap so much, if you're not running any vehicles or excuse me, any of the spacecrafts, it makes it very difficult to try to tap your creatures, because then you have to be swinging in, and your opponent's just going to block all your 1/1. So I would definitely, if I went back, I would scratch this one from the build. Melt Strider's Gear. This one was really solid. I really like this card. When this equipment enters, attached to a target creature you control, equipped creature gets +2/+1 and has reach. This one really helped out with any flyer decks that you were running into. Very solid card. Again, another good one that you could kind of bring back with a Stelly Reclaimer. So if you ever had any issues trying to get this out on the field or getting it into hand, you had a few options. There was a Stelly, and there was, let me see if I can look for it again. We went over it. It was Honored Knight Captain. So again, another if you were late game and you needed to add some more power onto the board for your creatures, those were two tech options that you could go with to help you out. Loading zone. I was kind of happy to pull this one from one of the draft picks. If one or more counters would be put on a creature, spacecraft, or planet, you control twice that many of each of those kinds of counters are put on it instead. Again, it has a warp cost. I really wish that I used the warp cost on this one. It kind of threw me for a loop because even I was looking at enchantments and not thinking that there would be warp cost for the enchantments, but there was on this one. Adding the 1/1 counters across the board whenever you generate them would have been lovely to have generated 2 of them every single turn. Okay, Seam Rip. This one's interesting. So when this enchantment enters exile, target non-land permanent and opponent controls with mana value 2 or less until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. This one was working out great until I ran into someone who's playing the blue-black control deck. One of the biggest issues with running into the blue-black control deck is that a lot of their creatures are have mana values that are much higher than 2, which makes it very difficult to use this card. I actually had to kind of switch it out or sideboard it when I went up against the blue-black control deck that I was playing against. Auxiliary boosters. This one was just a great tech option just as a kind of a secondary. So when equipment enters, create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token and attach this equipment to it. Equipped creature gets +1/+2 and has flying. One thing that I really liked about this card was it was another one that you could search up with the Esteli Reclaimer as well as the Honored Knight Captain. I would highly recommend if you're going to run those two, try to run your artifact equipment if you can. Makes it easy to tech in kind of building up stronger creatures. And the last pull that I kind of valued was this Echoing Deeps. You may have this land enter tapped as a copy of a land in a graveyard, except it's in addition to it's a addition to its other types. So I really didn't use the effect as much. Mostly just needed to have another land that had a different name just for one creature's ability, the Fungal Colossus. One thing I would say though is if I went back, I probably would not care so much for Fungal Colossus and needing to have 2 on board or more than 2 lands on board, just because I think it would have been better to have it as a forest or a plains at that point. But yeah, so this was the build. I kind of separate them a little bit, if I remember correct. Let's see, artifact creature instant. Yeah, I think the kind of the tech build that I was trying to go with was 17 lands. So I went with even amount of forests and plains, and then I went with 1 additional Echoing Deeps for the 17th land, and then we were running around with the 5 enchantments, instants, artifacts. That way, kind of the tech was a little bit creature heavy. Instead of using 6 of the artifacts, enchantments, or instants, I instead went with the 5 just to kind of be a little bit more creature heavy. The kind of the benefits of doing that was it seemed that being creature heavy allowed me to play a little bit more aggressive. But I think one of the issues that I was running into was that it didn't really help late game. If I was able to kind of corner the opponent early game, they were quick and easy wins. But if I was not able to do that early game, I pretty much was on my way to an L. So, but that's okay. Again, learning experience. This tournament, I actually went 0-2. The third round, I ended up getting a bye. But hoping I do better next time. Cool. Thanks for joining. This was Dagupa Troopa, and we're tagging out.